we ready to go, Ms. Herzog? Yeah, I can't see you. The lights are too bright. I can't see you behind the camera. Are you there? You are there, okay. Why don't you ever want to come on stage with me? Stage fright, some kind of thing? Okay. All right, that's okay. Now, where are we in this documentary series? Are we about to conclude sometimes? Because I'm getting pretty sick of this format, giving you these little stories, these little anecdotes every week. I'm losing my enthusiasm for it. But of course, I trust you, I respect you, and so if that's what you want to do, Herzog, I'll keep doing it until I crack. Yeah. All right. Well, on my way down here today from my jail cell, Herzog, I was thinking about maybe giving you maybe a anecdote or two according to decades, like one from my 1980s, one from my 1990s experiences, and perhaps one in the 21st century. I have plenty of stories to tell. I've been everywhere. I've never really achieved any kind of notoriety, except in jail among the prisoners. They think I'm pretty cool. Some of them do. Of course, in this prison, there aren't that many prisoners left. This prison, as I've mentioned many times before, I don't really see the need to tell it again, but I will, I'll say it. Wormwood Scrubs Prison, Wormwood Scrubs Prison, Pittsfield, Massachusetts. That's where I am. And it's a big campus. There's about three big old buildings here of prison, but we're down to about 7 prisoners. 7 prisoners are left here, and that's about it. Anyway, I have achieved among these final 7 prisoners a degree of notoriety. I don't know. Maybe it comes with age. 1980s. In the 1980s, I was in a dark place. I was experiencing a bad patch in my life. I mean, it could have been the first bad patch in my life. I was in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and I was working as a dishwasher at the Blue Teapot Cafe, Blue Teapot Diner is what it actually was. And it was on Myrtle Avenue in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Now, I was the dishwasher, and I had this boss. Her name was Gladys Shepard. She was my boss, but she also became my best friend. How did that happen? You ever have a boss that was your friend, too? Well, I did here. And she ran a great diner there called the Blue Teapot. Everybody liked it. A lot of homemade stuff. But the main thing for me, the big influence there in Gladys Shepard. Did I say Gladys Cooper? I don't know. It was Gladys Shepard. Gladys Cooper, I think, was an actress. Gladys Shepard was my boss and my friend. And she had this great collection of records, vinyl LPs, and she played them all day while she was doing business at the diner. But she exposed me to a new music I never heard of before. I was big on the Rolling Stones and Motown back in the 80s, and I didn't care for anything else. I didn't feel the need to explore any other kind of music. I didn't even think there was any other kind of music except the Rolling Stones and Motown. But my boss and friend, Gladys Shepard, she'd be playing these vinyl albums all day long with names like Duke Ellington, Billie Holiday, Miles Davis, Coleman Hawkins, Django Reinhardt, Tito Puente, Ella Fitzgerald, who knows, all a list like that. And I just said, well, what is this? She got me to appreciate this jazz music, and I'm very thankful that she did. She got me away from rock and roll and into a jazzier zone, and in the process, it took away my blues. Told you I was in a dark place at that time. I was having a bad patch in the 1980s, and Gladys Shepard, my boss and friend, exposed me to jazz, and it changed a lot of things for the better. It really did. And then it wasn't, I mean, that's what I was doing in the 1980s, but I'll tell you, a few years back here in the 21st century, I found out that Gladys passed away. And I said, well, I don't like to travel. I don't like to leave Pittsfield or anything. I wasn't in prison yet. Don't say prison, not yet. But this was a few years back before. I was living on the streets, and I was getting a really rancid smell in my body and everything. But I heard that Gladys Shepard, my old boss and friend, dear friend, had passed away. So I made arrangements. I was going to go to the service down in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I packed up my car with a full thermos of coffee and a whole bunch of jazz CDs to play on the way, because it's about 100 miles or more down from Pittsfield to Bridgeport. Have you ever done it? Yeah. And then as I'm aging, I don't like to drive that distance. I don't like to drive anywhere. So I just before getting in the car, these few years back, getting ready to get in the car to go to Gladys Shepard's funeral, I remembered I should call my boss. Not, I told you Gladys Shepard was my boss back in the 80s, but then my current boss, and I was only working part-time in the 21st century, if I worked at all. But I did have a commitment, and I called up this guy, this boss, and I said, I can't come in today. I got to go to the funeral of a very dear friend of mine. And he said, no, you can't go anywhere. You're coming into work. I said, well, I can't. I said, this is a wake. It's a funeral. It's a service of someone who meant a lot to me. Look, he said, this new boss of mine says, look, if you don't come into work, that's it, okay? It's either come to work or else. Now, those two words just sent off a little earthquake all over inside of me and my whole system, or else. And it didn't make me mad. As a matter of fact, it made me laugh. It made me laugh at this goofy boss who just said it. Come to work or else. Well, I definitely took the or else options. You know, you take the or else option in this case like I did, because dead or alive, a true friend deserves the or else option, which I did, and I made it to the service, and it was great. I saw a lot of old faces, and that's what I did. And or else meant that I just went back to living on the streets, where I was very comfortable, but I didn't have this goofy job that I had, which meant nothing. So sometimes you'd really, when they give you that kind of ultimatum, do this or else, just smile and take the or else option. Okay, so you have, is that okay? Do I have to do another take on that, Herzog? It was okay? You'll take it the way it was? You'll go back and look at it and maybe make some edits? Okay, I don't care. I do this. I do this because it relieves the boredom here at the prison, and I like this young woman here, Herzog. She's got a project. I'm her project. She's making a documentary on me. I'm her project. So I have a commitment to her. She just whispered to me, do the documentary or else. That's funny, Herzog. That's good. Now, 1980s, that's what happened then. Now, I'm trying to give you, one from each little decade today. 1990s. 1990s, I had signed up at the Housing Authority here in Pittsfield for a really low rent apartment. All I wanted was a room with a bathroom, just like a studio apartment. And so I signed up, and then a couple of years later, I had totally forgotten about signing up for an apartment with the Housing Authority. Totally, because, I do a lot of things, I have a very complex life. Some people who know me, they'll say, what are you like, Herman? Herman Scuttle. Can you describe yourself? I say, I'm very complex. And then people who know me, other people come up to them and say, what's Herman Scuttle like? And they say, he's very complex. So, Housing Authority, 2 years go by, I didn't even think about my application there, and I just happened to be going by the building over on Fenn Street in Pittsfield. And I went up to the third floor, and I said, hey, how you doing? And blah, blah, blah. And they said, you're Herman Scuttle? And I said, yes, I'm Herman Scuttle. And by the way, I'm very complex. Well, they said, well, Mr. Scuttle, you applied here a couple of years ago. We have a place for you now. We have a subsidized studio apartments, very nice. It's upstairs in the YMCA, but don't let that scare you. And it's because it's been renovated up there. It's not the old-fashioned YMCA with all the bums and the dirt and the smells. And then I said, well, look at me. I am a bum, and I have dirt and smells on me right now. I said, do I still qualify? Well, and they said, well, there's a shower in there, and you can, every day you can take a nice hot soapy shower and you won't have the dirt and the smells anymore. So I thought about that. And then I said, okay, I'll take the apartment. Well, let me show it to you first. Oh, well, you can show it to me, but I'll take it. Well, the Housing Authority woman brought me up there to the room, the little studio apartment, and it was okay for me. But then she looked at me, and she pointed her finger in my face, and she looked at me with the face of a cop, and she said, no dogs or cats. Well, and I said, before I could say anything, respond to that, she said, a lot of the people in this building tried to fool me, but I know all the tricks. So I just kept standing there and looking around, not saying anything, because I knew if I said anything, I was getting in trouble. Okay, no dogs and cats. Don't try to trick this woman. Okay, I got it. No response. Just nice smile. No dogs and cats. No dogs and cats. But then, I got to thinking about that. And the next day, I went down to the Berkshire Bank. And by the way, even though I am a dirty, smelly bum, well, not anymore in this prison because they keep me clean, they insist. But when I was living on the street, I was pretty bad. Even though I've been a bum, and I was at a bum stage in this part of my life, the 1990s now I'm talking about. The next day after I got this apartment, no dogs or cats, don't try to fool me, that place. I went down to the Berkshire Bank, and even in my condition, I still have a lot of money in the bank. I do. Shh, don't tell me. So I went down there, and I took a lot of money out of my IRA account. I do have a big IRA account. Don't ask questions. I'm very complex. Okay. So I emptied out the IRA, as a matter of fact, and I bought I bought a palomino. To me, the most beautiful horse in the world, possibly the most beautiful animal in the world, a palomino. Think about it. You know a palomino. Just get a picture of a palomino in your head, that tan body and that kind of creamy colored mane and tail. I love the palomino. Oh my goodness gracious, I love a palomino. So I bought the palomino, and I bought it. And I escorted my palomino up to my little apartment there, and I realized that, oddly enough, my apartment was the same size as your average horse stall. Yeah, and the horse loved it. The horse said to himself, the palomino said, this is what I'm used to. This is a beautiful stall he's bringing me to. So here was the palomino and the palomino stuck his big horse head out the door and looked down the hallway. There's a big hallway there in this apartment building, and the horse said, this is a great place to canter, to get some exercise. And so we put that on our schedule. Now, you would think that in an apartment building, a downtown apartment building in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, of course this was in the 90s, it might have been the late 90s, somebody would freak out among the population there and say, hey, that guy, Herman Scuttle in room 303, he's got a horse in there with him. You think they'd be upset with it, but no, they liked it. They liked everybody in that building, all of my fellow residents in that building. They loved my palomino. I gave them rides. I gave them rides. And I said that hallway was really long and nice for a nice little, not a gallop, more like a canter, a walk or a canter on a horse. And everybody loved my thing. And even low down Sharon. Now, low down Sharon, she lived in room 323, and she was always pretty low down. That's why we called her low down Sharon. But she loved my palomino too, and she is the one who named my horse. She named my horse Duke. And I paused for a moment and I said, low down Sharon, yeah, but this is a girl horse. And Sharon looked at me and she said, ever hear of Patty Duke? Yeah. So then one day, as you might expect, the housing authority lady paid a visit, see. And that was right at the time that I was mucking the apartment. You know, if you have a horse stall, you got to regularly muck it. You got to muck that stall. And that's what I was doing in my apartment, because my apartment was now basically a horse stall, and I had to muck it. You know, you gotta look. Never mind. Here comes the housing authority lady, and she looks around in my apartment, shock, ready to explode, and she said, "I told you, no dogs or cats." And I said, "Well, housing authority lady, just look around. It's just me and Duke. You want to saddle up?" And with that, the palomino turned his horse head and focused his big eye on the housing authority lady. He had a mouthful of oats at the moment, so he was chowing down on his oats, but he turned and that big horse eye went right smack to the housing authority lady, and that spooked her. That spooked her right then and there. And so she just kind of melted, and she said, "Oh, well, I'm sorry to bother you." And she said, she started to walk out the door, but she turned back and she said, "By the way, Herman, I love what you've done to the place." And of course, yeah, there was there was a muffled snort and the stomp of a hoof. And soon the horse did the same. Hey, Herzog, yeah, no, Herzog, that was a true story that really happened, I think it happened. I don't know. It's good. So let me do a guitar thing. Hey, Warden or guard, how much time do I have left?
7 minutes, Herman.
Thank you. I guess I'll do a song that I wrote. Wrote it last night, and I think we can put this in the documentary too. If you want, I don't know, I just need a break. Walking down the highway, my baby kicked me to the curb. Walking down the highway, my baby kicked me to the curb. She said, I ain't nothing, I'm just mentally disturbed. Walking down the highway, no home, no food, no money. I'm walking down the highway, no home, no food, no money. I said, nobody loves me, I ain't nobody's honey bunny. Walking down the highway, been hitchhiking all day long. Walking down the highway, been hitchhiking all day long. I'm on the right side of the highway, but I'm on the wrong side of wrong. I'm walking down the highway, I'm on the road to hell. Walking down the highway, I am on the road to hell. My baby might come and kiss me and make up. Well, you just never can tell. Yeah. Yeah. So I will tell you, what I will tell you is, what? What? It's under the chair? Another? This one? I thought I told you, Herzog, that I didn't want to do these things anymore. I would expect that it's from that same weird, strung out, nutty person as the last two letters. I'm just guessing. Let me look at the bottom. Yes. Yes, it's from her. Is this absolutely necessary? All right. I'm going to do this letter, whatever it says, letter to me, letter to the editor, letter to the TV station, whatever you call it, to you, Herzog. And then I'm going back to my cell. I am really drained. I think that I've done my job here today. I think I've come up with a few anecdotes for you. I got more, but I just, I'm running out of energy and running out of time. Now listen, this is from that goofball, and here it goes. I didn't read it yet, but I can almost tell word for word what it is. At least it's the same as the other two letters as far as vengeance and nastiness goes. Yeah. Okay. To the prisoner on the TV. Before you have time to think of a lie, tell me truthfully why you were on my roof last night. Don't sit there and smirk and make like you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm saying. Are you paying attention to this? All right. You were on my roof last night. Oh, yes, you were. You and your maggot face and your breath like skunk cabbage and your body odor like dirty socks and skivvies. Oh, yeah, it was you up there, no question. I mean, you were on top of my house in the dark wearing that stupid orange outfit that you wear on that putrid second-rate TV show, and you were nibbling on a dead crow that you found on the side of the road.
2 minutes.
Thank God. Well, I've said enough. Now it's your turn. Tell me why you were up there last night, up there on my roof. Don't concoct some cock and bull story saying you weren't there and that I'm just another one of these outrageous Berkshire freakazoids. Tell me, damn it, tell me why you were on my roof. Signed, Francine Gilgamesh, Houseboat, Great Barrington. My response? I have no response.